Hey guys, this is Eric with Painting Business Pro, and this is the third video where I'm going into some of the most common excuses I see about where people are getting in their own way with starting their business, growing their business, and so far we've covered a couple things about people who are starting up and the biggest challenges I see people having, the biggest questions I get, and I'm calling all of these things excuses. I'm calling them excuses because I really believe that's what they are, but I know for you it's not an excuse, it's very real. So far we covered I don't have money to start up, and that's very real for many people. We've also covered I have a full-time job, so how can I start a business with a full-time job? And that's very real for people. But people get fixated on the excuse, they get fixated on the reason instead of finding the solution, because all of these are very overcomable. All right, so there's a quote that I keep referencing, and I'm going to keep referencing it in all of these videos. It's from Tony Robbins, and it says, I believe life is constantly testing our level of commitment. Greatness is reserved for those who have an unending commitment to act until they achieve. All right, so basically that's saying, hey, there's going to be challenges. And your excuses or those challenges you say you have. If I say, why haven't you started your business? You give me a reason. If I say, why haven't you grown your business? You give me a reason. Those are the challenges. That's life testing your level of commitment. And if you're really committed, you can solve any of these problems, any of these challenges, or how I'm saying it, any of these excuses. So one of the biggest ones, the most common ones I get for people who want to start a business is fear. Eric, but I'm just worried, like, I don't even know how to estimate. Or Eric, I'm just worried, like, why will people trust me? Or Eric, I'm just worried about it, what if I don't make any money? Or Eric, I'm just worried about blah, blah, blah. And any of those questions, they're really useful, but many people just get stuck in the fear. Instead of just looking at the question, be like, yeah, no, that's a valid question. You don't know how to run this business, so how are you going to learn? Because you're asking that question because you do want to start a business. Why? And how committed are you to that? And if you're really committed, I want to start a business because I want to make more money and I want to provide for my family and I want to take my kids to Disney World and give them a college fund, and I want to learn how to control my life, and I want to be a business owner and be able to choose who I work with and all this great stuff. It's like, cool, that's awesome. How committed are you to that? Really committed, but I'm afraid. Okay, great. So here's what to do about the fear. First of all those things, write them down. Just get it out of your head. Write them down on paper. And then instead of getting paralyzed by the uncertainty, start to look for how you can solve it. All right, so there is no exact certainty in this business. So I want to talk about a couple things. So the first thing, like I said, is you got to determine if you're really committed. If you're really committed to succeeding. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is there's really two ways that you can fail in this business. The first way is a lack of knowledge. Okay, so if you start this business and you go out there and you save up a bunch of money and you go spend $8,000 on equipment, and then you go and spend $2,000 on marketing and you don't get any customers calling you, and then you don't know what else to do to get customers to call you, and you're just sitting there with $10,000 invested into your business and you're not doing any estimates, you might fail. So if you don't have knowledge for how to make this business successful, you could fail. Now, fortunately for you, I've been teaching people how to start this business successfully for my entire life. And I have thousands of success stories of students who have gone through my program. You can eliminate this one with my Painting Business Pro training course on how to start up a painting company. All right, so I will walk you through all of that. And if you're building a painting business, if you already have one, you could still fail in this business from a lack of knowledge, right? You could accidentally go and do a job that bankrupts you. So you can avoid this one entirely, and that's the training that I'm providing. There's a second way you can fail though. So let's say you get my course and you're like, oh, here's the proven model. Here's how I can guarantee customers are coming in. Here's how I can price my job so that I make money but I'm so competitive. Here's the sales process I can follow to make sure I'm winning jobs. And here's how I can find great painters and deliver on my promises. And here's how I can manage the whole business and the planning and the strategy. I can give you all of that so that you know you're following the right steps. You know you have the right knowledge. All right, but there's a second way you can fail, which is if you give up, if you don't work hard, or if you aren't persistent. So if you're someone who's going to give up really easily, you probably shouldn't be in business. If you're someone who's going to not be willing to really work your ass off, you shouldn't be in business. The hardest part of this business is the first year. The second hardest part of this business is the second year. The third hardest part of this business is the third year. Because as you keep learning, you get better and better and better at it. And after a couple of years, you know how to create money out of thin air. You don't have to go and get a job ever again, because at any time, you know I can go and get some leads for painting houses, sell a couple jobs, and get them produced and make money. And that's an amazing freedom to give yourself. So this is it. So if you're ruthlessly committed, my advice, just to be totally straight with you, is don't try to figure this out on your own. Anytime I talk to people who have started their business on their own, they have made very expensive mistakes. They've invested in a whole bunch of equipment they don't need, or they have not sold a bunch of jobs that they could have if they had a better sales process, or they've significantly underpriced themselves, or they've spent a whole bunch of time building what they think they should be doing and they shouldn't be. So I would strongly recommend investing into my course, which I'll put in the comments. That's going to map out the blueprint and show you exactly how you build a business successfully, because I've done it with thousands of people. And then you've got to be committed that you're not going to give up. You're going to put in the effort. And when you fail, you will learn from it. You will just learn from it. Because the first year and 2 years of this business is about learning. And the best way to learn is from failures. Failures are not bad. Failures are required. And if you're someone who's going to be persistent and not give up, you can make this happen. And it's even easier when you have the course, but also when you have our amazing community. All right, we have over 550 people in our community on Facebook where you just ask questions and you get a ton of support. All right, so I'm here to help people build a great business. I'm here to raise the bar of the painting industry. And if you have any other questions, or you have some other fear that we haven't addressed in this, something you're worried about, just drop it in the comments below and I'll respond to it. All right, so next week we're going to shift gears away from starting up, and we're going to get into stuff about marketing and subcontractors in the next few weeks. So we'll see you in next week's video. If you have a question or a worry that I didn't address, drop it in the comments below, and we'll see you guys again soon.